We're taking inspiration from Pride Month, which is a fantastic global initiative taking place in June every year focused on the LGBTQ plus community. But we're going to be talking about diversity in a wider context with a spotlight on the environment sector. To gain some insight, we're talking to a number of chartered environmentalists about who they are and what they do, and we discuss their thoughts on diversity in the environment sector and beyond. Here's what one chartered environmentalist said.
Hello, my name's Lynne Ceeney. I'm a Chartered Environmentalist, I'm a Fellow of IEMA, and I'm a Sustainable Built Environment expert. I specialise in collaborative design processes and stakeholder engagement. And I'm also a lesbian, so I can offer some perspective from the point of view of somebody in a minority community. When I started work, it was illegal to talk about gay and lesbian issues in schools, and it was perfectly legal for employers and workplaces to discriminate and indeed fire people on the grounds of sexual orientation. So from first-hand personal experience, I can tell you how tiring it can be to be in a workplace where you don't feel safe. It saps your energies, as you can never let your guard down if you don't want to let slip that you have a same-sex partner, and you have to be careful about what you say about what you did at the weekend, or why your partner isn't coming to a social event. It requires you to be on your guard all the time, and you can't focus all of your energy on your work. I'd like to say it's better now, and certainly for me it largely is. I decided long ago to be open about my personal life, and I've mostly had a very good experience in companies I've worked for. But even last year I was talking to a young gay man who doesn't feel he can come out at work, as having heard the conversations of colleagues, he believes it will impact on the types of projects he's given, and he thinks that clients and colleagues will view him differently. And he's a talented specialist in carbon reduction in buildings. I have friends my own age who involve getting close to work colleagues in case they are found out. And generally speaking, people who are LGBTQ can choose whether or not they are out. A person of colour doesn't have this choice. The thing is, it's really stressful feeling that you aren't part of a tribe or you can't be yourself. And it is very easy for any industry, including our own, to lose talented people if they don't feel that they belong. But for us, it's not just working conditions within our industry that matter. The environment sector, and indeed the wider movement, needs to engage with communities from all walks of life, from whatever background. The environment and the atmosphere really doesn't care who produced the carbon that fuels climate change, and it will take action from all communities to reduce climate change and carbon emissions. To me, it seems that a lack of diversity in the environment sector makes it much more difficult to make a case that resonates with all communities, and it makes it much more difficult to show empathy with people that we want to make change. The lack of diversity also reduces the pool of people who can put forward solutions to the problems we're facing. If whole communities are not engaging, the talent, insight and experience of those groups is not available to help tackle environmental issues. But why would you engage in something if you feel your perspective's not listened to and your ideas are dismissed? Yet I can tell you from positive experience when running charrettes, seeds for some really successful regeneration proposals have come from people who would not usually be asked or involved in environmental initiatives, but who have responded to invitations and outreach and taken the opportunity to get involved on their own terms. A lack of diversity also makes it all too easy to dismiss environmentalists, paid or voluntary, as usual suspects from a narrow band of society. The thing is, although I don't believe that to be the case, if you look at most of the visible professionals or campaigning environmentalists, that is what you would think. It's very hard to see a diverse perspective. So going back to my original point about workplace experience, quite apart from the basic human rights argument, it makes business sense to enable and support diversity in the environmental industry, to have employees who can be themselves at work and who are not constantly stressed and on their guard, and they can devote their energy to the job. It also makes sense in terms of attracting and retaining the best talent, regardless of where it comes from. But beyond that, it has benefits for wider environmental issues. Being visibly and audibly diverse demonstrates that the environment is about more than the usual suspects in certain parts of the community. And I think that's really important if we're going to succeed in tackling climate change and other environmental issues. We need to enable all parts of the community to engage and encourage them to be part of things, not just expect them to conform to our perspectives.
If you wanted to hear more diversity insight from chartered environmentalists, you can either go to our YouTube channel where the other videos will be available, or the links are below and you can click on whichever one you like.